India is drowning in a sea of plastic garbage. From Delhi to Bangalore, the country is littered with tons of plastic waste. An innovative company in Bangalore is developing a process of recycling industrial quantities of that plastic into hard-wearing road surfaces, which may be a solution not just to India's plastic waste problems, but the whole world's. The ancient country of India is marred by a very modern problem. Every day, thousands of tons of plastic waste is dumped onto the nation's streets. In towns and villages across the country, discarded plastic bottles, packing material and bags clog up lakes, ditches and the stomachs of wandering cows.
If you take the entire state of Karnataka, actually it would be about 300 tons of plastics per day is disposed of. If you take the Bangalore itself as an example, all the drains are clogged because of the plastic thrown everywhere.
And this plastic garbage is here to stay. It takes decades for it to break down. When it does, a toxic cocktail of chemicals is released into the environment. Even the sacred river Ganges is a toxic soup of industrial chemicals and decaying plastic garbage. But there could be one simple solution: put the plastic waste into new roads.
This type of plastic, this is waste plastic. We are shifting this plastic waste to our factory and we converted into KK poly blend. That blend will be using in this road construction.
In Bangalore, 1,500 kilometres of plastic roads have already been laid using 5,000 tonnes of waste.
Bangalore is a very big city, metropolitan city, which generates around 5,000 tons of municipal solid waste. And say that is about 2% of it is about 100 tons of waste plastics is generated every day.
Fortunately, attitudes toward waste are changing in India. At this apartment complex, 2 residents have started their own recycling scheme. The plastic is sorted into different types, then bagged up for collection.
We have 900 apartments altogether in this building, and almost 80% people are participating.
The plastic is weighed and the apartment residents receive 6 rupees a kilo.
Everybody is interested in making the money. So when you're making the money out of garbage, people do it.
And it's not just apartment residents who are making money from garbage. School kids bring plastic for recycling from home. The money enables the school to buy new books and computers. Teachers hope that by educating the children, they can educate the parents, who are often unaware of the dangers caused by plastic waste.
There's many different types of waste, and altogether they're of absolutely no use. All they do is pollute. But if you segregate it, if you take out the plastic and the metal and the organic waste, all of it is of some value.
And for the millions of poor people who go out onto the streets every day to collect this so-called dirty plastic, it's some kind of a living too. When the plastic arrives back at the factory, any dirty plastic first has to be cleaned and then ground down into tiny granules. The principle of blending plastics into road is not new and has been used in the West for some time. This rough and ready version may be cheaper than its counterparts from the developed world, but questions have been asked about the consistency of material used and degradation down the line.
Their technology is obviously slightly different. Essentially, they're modifying the bitumen with recycled plastic bags, and so they would expect to get some performance benefits provided that the system is investigated properly, particularly in terms of permanent deformation resistance, which in a country like India, where the temperatures are very high, is probably one of the main modes of pavement distress. Well, one of the things you have to be mindful of with secondary materials or recycled materials is the variability that you can sometimes get with recycled materials. They're obviously coming from lots of different sources, they're being processed in different ways. So you need to have appropriate quality control procedures in place to make sure that one batch of the recycled material gives very similar physical properties to another batch of recycled material.
There are many Indian firms that recycle plastics, but incorporating them into roads is a relatively new concept here. Another pilot scheme was carried out in the state of Himachal Pradesh. But for now, there is no real competition. This is, however, practically guaranteed to change. India is in the process of building a vast network of new highways and upgrading many more existing roads, increasing the demand for materials.
With this massive requirement of development, resources are going to become a limitation. I mean, there's only, if you see where the prices of oil are heading, replacement for bitumen is a major benefit, I mean, from a developer perspective.
The cost may be slightly more than the normal cost of resurfacing the asphalted roads, but considering the fact that it will enhance the life of the road surface by about 30 to 40%, I think it will be a very welcome thing to.
What's interesting is that now it's not a question of, okay, it's green, therefore we must. It's a question of actually economically, it makes more sense to do that.
So maybe road building is part of the solution for removing the plastic waste from India's streets and rivers. And if it works there, it might be a solution to similar problems all over the world.